Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Earth. Tonight, we travel back in time, far beyond the pyramids, beyond the first farms, beyond the rise of fire. We step into a world where the line between animal and human was just beginning to blur, a world raw, untamed, and filled with constant danger. This is not the story of kings or empires. It is the story of survival, of hunger, of fear, and of the spark of something new, being born in the mind of a creature that would someday call itself human. Tonight you will walk in the footsteps of Homo Habilis, one of our earliest ancestors. The earth you awaken to is not the earth you know. The air feels different, sharper somehow, with the scent of grasses and soil untainted by cities or smoke. There are no roads, no villages, no fences. The land is endless, wild, and full of life. Rolling plains stretch toward the horizon, cut by rivers and scattered with clusters of trees. Herds of antelope-like creatures graze in the distance, their ears twitching nervously at unseen dangers. Birds wheel overhead, their calls piercing the silence of the morning. And somewhere, beyond your sight but not beyond your imagination, predators are already watching. You're not quite human as you know it. Your body is shorter, stockier, your arms a little longer, your brow heavy. Your brain, though smaller than those who will come after, is large enough to hold something extraordinary. The beginnings of thought, the stirrings of reason, the awareness that your survival depends not only on instinct, but on the fragile spark of invention. You are Homo Habilis, the handy man, named not for language or fire, but for the first clumsy tools chipped from stone. It is morning, and you must rise. The night has been cold, for there is no fire to keep you warm. You and a small band of your kind huddle together beneath a canopy of branches, pressed close to one another for warmth and safety. Sleep came lightly, broken by the sounds of distant predators, the growl of lions, the laugh of hyenas, the cough of leopards. Even in rest you knew the world around you was full of threats, and vigilance was your only shield. Hunger gnaws at you now. Food is the constant rhythm of your days. Every dawn begins with the question of where to find it, and every night ends with the uncertainty of whether you will eat tomorrow. The land provides, but it also takes, and nothing is ever guaranteed. Fruits hang in the trees, but others fight for them. Roots hide beneath the soil, but they are hard to dig. Carcasses sometimes lie abandoned, but scavengers circle faster than you can. To be Homo Habilis is to live always on the edge, balance between need and survival. As you step into the light of the rising sun, you see the world with both animal eyes and something more. The sky stretches vast and unbroken, glowing with the pale fire of dawn. The grass shimmers with dew, hiding dangers within. You feel the sharpness of stone beneath your bare feet, the rough texture of the earth beneath your hands. Every sense is alive, every detail matters, for the land is both your home and your test. You are not alone. Around you are the others, your band, your fragile tribe of survival. There are perhaps 10 of you, maybe fewer. They are like you, but also different. Younger ones cling nervously to their mothers. Older ones bear the marks of survival in scars and limps. Together, you are stronger, though never strong enough to ignore the dangers that stalk the plains. Alone, you would not survive long. Together, you stand a chance. Today will be like every day, uncertain, precarious, filled with choices that may mean life or death. You will search for food, you will watch the skies, you will listen for the snap of grass that signals a predator, and in quiet moments you may chip at a piece of stone, shaping it into something crude but useful. A tool that makes you different from the beasts around you. A tool that whispers of a future where your kind will rise, but for now there is only the present, the immediate urgency of survival. As the band begins to move, you follow, scanning the land. The air is alive with the sounds of animals, the constant chorus of a world untouched by civilization. A rustle in the grass could mean a hare fleeing, or it could mean a lion waiting. Every shadow carries possibility. Every sound demands attention. This is the rhythm of existence, alert, cautious, driven by need. And yet, beneath the tension, there is also wonder. The world is vast, and you are small within it. But you are aware of that vastness. You see the way the sun rises each morning, the way the stars blaze each night, the way the herds move like rivers across the plains. You're not yet human in the modern sense, but the seeds of humanity are here, in your gaze, in your hands, in your mind. This is the dawn of humanity, a fragile, dangerous dawn where survival is never guaranteed, but where something extraordinary is beginning to take shape. Each day you live is a victory. Each tool you shape is a step forward. Each story your survival writes is a line in the epic of human history yet to come. And as you walk through the grasses of this ancient earth, you carry within you not only hunger and fear, but possibility. Possibility that will one day become fire, language, culture, and cities. But for now, there is only the morning, the band, the land, and the endless struggle to endure. Welcome to the dawn of humanity. Welcome to a day in the life of Homo Habilis. The first light of the sun pierces the horizon, spilling gold across the endless plains. You stir awake, not in a bed, not beneath a roof, but beneath branches roughly piled together, a fragile canopy of protection that shielded you from the chill of the night. Around you, the others begin to move as well. Your band, your fragile circle of kin, is small, less than a dozen, but they are your everything. Without them, you are nothing but prey. Together, you are something more. Not yet masters of this world, but not merely beasts either. You are something in between. The morning air is cool, crisp with dew that clings to the grasses. You feel the dampness against your skin, the rough earth beneath your palms as you push yourself upright. Your body aches from the cold. There was no fire to warm you. Fire is still a secret waiting to be discovered, and until then, the night remains a place of danger, a time of teeth and shadows. As you rise, you hear the first sounds of the day. The calls of distant birds ring sharp across the plains. A low grunt of an animal carries from beyond a cluster of trees. The wind moves through the tall grasses, whispering of things unseen. Every sound matters. In this world, silence is rare, and when it comes, it often means something dangerous is near. Hunger tightens your belly. It is always there, an insistent gnawing that never lets you forget the fragility of your survival. You do not know when your next meal will come. You only know that you must find it, and you must find it before something else finds you. The others begin to move, stretching, scanning, sniffing the air. Your band is cautious but restless, shaped by the rhythm of survival. There is no language here, not as you know it. There are sounds, gestures, glances, small signals that carry meaning. A sharp call means danger. A hand reaching to the ground might mean roots to eat. A gaze fixed on the distance means something spotted on the horizon. These are your words, spoken without speaking, carried not by sentences but by instincts sharpened into communication. The group gathers and slowly you begin to move. The morning search for food begins. The plains stretch before you, endless and open. This is both a gift and a curse. You can see far, scanning for fruiting trees or fallen carcasses, but predators can also see you. Lions, leopards and hyenas hunt these lands, and to them, you're not yet the hunters. You are the hunted. Your only defence is your awareness, your numbers, and the crude stones carried in your hands. One of the older members of your band grips a rock, its edge roughly chipped. a tool both simple and profound. You two carry a stone chipped just enough to hold a jagged edge. It is clumsy in your hand, heavy, imperfect, but it is something more than instinct. It is invention. With it, you can crack bones, split hides, scrape plants. This is your first advantage, small but meaningful, in a world where every advantage counts. The group approaches a cluster of trees scattered like islands in the sea of grass. The air smells faintly sweet, and as you climb closer, you see fruit hanging heavy on the branches. Hunger sharpens into urgency. The younger ones scramble upward, pulling at the bounty while the older ones remain watchful below. You reach, tear one loose, and sink your teeth into its flesh. The taste is wild, sour but nourishing. It fills your mouth with juice, and for a brief moment, the hunger eases. But the moment is never safe. A sound breaks the peace, the snap of grass, heavy footsteps nearby. The band stiffens, eyes darting toward the noise. From the shadows of the trees a shape emerges. Massive shoulders, a thick mane, golden eyes fixed upon you. A lion. Panic surges sharp and immediate. The younger ones shriek, scrambling higher into the branches. The adults grab stones, lifting them, ready but trembling. You too grip your jagged rock, though you know its edge is nothing against the power of the predator. The lion snarls, tail twitching, weighing its choice. For a heartbeat you are frozen, suspended between survival and death. Then, with a sudden roar, the lion lunges forward. The group explodes into action, shouting, throwing stones, waving arms. The air fills with sharp cries and the thud of rocks against earth. The display is chaotic, desperate, but it is enough. The lion hesitates, startled by the uproar, then withdraws, slipping back into the grass. The danger is not gone. It lingers in the air, in the memory of golden eyes. But for now, the threat has passed. Your heart pounds in your chest. Your band gathers close again, shaken but alive. Survival is a fragile balance, and today you have tipped it, if only for a moment, in your favour. The search continues. Hunger may be eased, but it is never satisfied. Fruit is a gift, but it will not last. The band moves on, scanning for more. A vulture wheels overhead, its circling flight a signal you have learned to read. Where vultures gather, there may be death, and where there is death, there may be food. The group changes course, following the signs written in the sky. At the edge of the plains you find it, the carcass of a fallen antelope, half consumed, its ribs exposed. Flies swarm thick around it, and the air reeks of rot. Other scavengers circle nearby, jackals, birds, but they scatter as your band approaches, wary of your numbers. You step forward, stone in hand, and kneel beside the carcass. The flesh is tough, but with a few sharp blows of the rock you break it open, exposing the marrow-rich bones. This is survival food, raw, messy, but rich with life. You crack the bones, scoop the marrow with your fingers, and swallow it down. The taste is strong, the texture strange, but it fills the emptiness within. Others do the same, passing stones back and forth, working together, sharing what is found. It is not a feast, but it is enough. As the sun climbs higher, the heat presses down. The band retreats to shade, resting, conserving energy. The younger ones drowse, their small bodies sprawled in the cool dirt. You sit quietly, stone in hand, turning it over, striking it against another. The sharp edge chips away, and you study the flake that breaks free. It is not much, just a sliver of stone, but it is a thought made real, an idea turned into survival. Each strike, each edge, each shard is a step beyond instinct, a step toward something greater. The afternoon stretches, the hours heavy with heat and silence. Time here is not measured in minutes or hours, but in movements of the sun, in the needs of the body, hunger, thirst, danger, rest. These are the rhythms of your day, and always there is the watchfulness. The land is never safe, never still. Shadows shift in the grass, shapes move at the edge of vision. You're surrounded by life, but every life is both a threat and a promise. Every creature you see reminds you of your place in this fragile web, neither predator nor prey, but something uncertain, something in between. As the light begins to fade, the band moves again, seeking a place for night. The open plains are too exposed, too dangerous. You gather beneath a rocky outcrop sheltered by trees. Here you will huddle together, bodies pressed close, warmth shared against the coming chill. There is no fire to protect you, no walls to hold the night at bay. Only your band, your stones, and your awareness. The stars begin to pierce the sky, one by one, as the darkness spreads. You tilt your head back, gazing at them. You do not understand them, not yet. To you, they are not constellations or galaxies. They are simply lights, distant and mysterious. But something in you lingers on them, something curious, something aware. A spark, fragile and new, that will one day grow into questions, into stories, into dreams. The night fills with sounds, the laughter of hyenas, the low growl of lions, the cries of unseen creatures. Fear coils within you, but so does determination. You are alive. You have endured another day. Tomorrow will bring the same hunger, the same dangers, the same fragile struggle. But for now, you close your eyes, pressed close to your band, and let the rhythm of the ancient earth cradle you in sleep. This is what it means to wake as Homo Habilis, to live each day at the edge of survival, to carry within you the fragile beginnings of humanity, to balance always between fear and possibility. You're not yet what you will become, but you are no longer what you once were. You're something new, something enduring, something that will, in time, reshape the world. The world stretches before you, vast and unyielding. It is a place of stone and silence, where every breath you take feels borrowed, and every step could lead you closer to survival or to death. To live here is not to thrive in comfort, but to endure, moment by moment, in a land where nature's voice is louder than your own. The plains roll endlessly, their grasses swaying like the restless sea. Pockets of forest stand like green islands, offering shade and shelter, but also the unknown dangers of what lurks within. Beyond them, jagged outcrops of stone jut upward from the earth, silent monuments that have stood for countless ages before you, and will stand for countless ages after. You are small here, insignificant. The world does not bend to your will. You must bend to it. Stone is everywhere, beneath your feet, in your hands, along the ridges of cliffs. To the animals that share this land, stone is just earth hardened, a surface to cross, a barrier to climb. But to you and your kind, it is something else, something more. Stone is a tool, a weapon, a chance to tip the scales of survival ever so slightly in your favour. You crouch near a stream, your fingers closing around a rounded rock. Its weight is solid, comforting in a strange way. You strike it against another, clumsy but deliberate. A sharp fragment breaks free, its edge catching the light. You hold it, turning it over. It is not smooth like the river stone. It is jagged, sharp, hungry. With this you can scrape bark, cut sinew, or crack bone. It is simple, but it is power. The others gather around you. Some imitate striking rocks together. Some watch, eyes wide but uncomprehending. Each attempt is rough, but sometimes a flake splits free, and each time it does, a door opens. This is the world of stone, where survival is carved from the earth itself, where thought is given form not through words but through edges chipped into rock. Yet, even with stone in your hand, the silence of the land reminds you how fragile you remain. The silence here is not peaceful. It is heavy, watchful, alive. When the wind falls still, when the birds stop calling, when the grasses no longer whisper, you know something is near. Silence is the voice of predators, of danger drawing close. You feel it in your bones before your eyes can see it. The group moves carefully across the plains. Every sense is stretched thin. Your eyes scan for movement, your ears search for sound, your nose tests the air. The silence presses down until the smallest rustle feels deafening. A shadow shifts in the tall grass and your heart jolts. Was it wind, or was it something watching? The world teaches you to never ignore these questions. To dismiss them is to die. But the silence is not always danger. Sometimes it is simply vastness. Standing at the edge of a rocky ridge, you look out across the land. The horizon stretches farther than your mind can hold. The sky above feels endless, its blue dome so immense you cannot imagine what lies beyond. The silence here is humbling. It reminds you that you are a small flicker of life in a world that has existed long before you and will exist long after. You press your palm to the stone beneath you. It is rough, warm from the sun. It has been here for millions of years, unchanged, while life has risen and fallen around it. You cannot name these thoughts, cannot form them into questions, but somewhere deep within you feel it. A sense of time, of being part of something older and greater than yourself. The world of stone is not only your tool, it is your memory. Each flake you strike, each edge you shape, carries within it a story of survival. When your band uses a sharp stone to tear open a carcass, it is more than food. It is a connection to the earth itself, a silent conversation between the living and the unyielding. You're learning to read the land, to see in stone not just obstacles, but possibilities. Yet stone alone is not enough. The silence reminds you of this. As you move through the forest edge, shadows cling to the undergrowth. A leopard could be there, hidden, waiting, its golden eyes fixed upon you. Your stones may slow it, may wound it, but they will not stop it. You survive not by strength, but by watchfulness, by numbers, by knowing when to fight and when to flee. The silence teaches caution. It forces you to listen, to respect the unseen. Water trickles from a spring nearby. You kneel, cupping it in your hands, drinking deeply. It is cool, clean, alive with the taste of the earth. Around you, the others drink as well, the reflections broken on the surface. The silence here is softer, filled with the murmur of the stream, the rustle of leaves. For a brief moment, it feels safe, but even here, your ears remain tuned to the distance, waiting for a sound that does not belong. As the day passes, the silence changes with the land. On the open plains, it is vast and exposed. In the forests, it is dense, pressing in around you. In the rocky hills, it echoes, carrying every step, every cry. You learn to read these silences, to sense their meanings. They're your map, your warning, your guide. The sun begins to fall, shadows stretching long across the land. The silence grows heavier, more dangerous. Night belongs to others, the hunters with teeth, the eyes that gleam in darkness. You and your band move quickly, seeking a place to gather, to huddle close. A shallow cave, a cluster of rocks, a thick grove, anywhere that offers shelter from the night. As you settle, you clutch your stone close. It is not much. Against the strength of lions or the cunning of hyenas, it feels pitiful, but it is something. And in this world of stone and silence, even the smallest something can mean survival. The night deepens, stars piercing the sky, brighter than anything you can name. The silence is alive now with the calls of creatures hunting, the distant cries of the dying, the laughter of hyenas carrying. Across the plains, fear gnaws at you, but so does something else. Wonder. You gaze at the stars, their cold light endless above you, and though you cannot name them, you feel them. They are questions waiting to be asked, mysteries that whisper in silence. You press closer to your band, bodies touching, sharing warmth. The silence is broken only by breaths, by the shift of limbs. Tomorrow will be another day of hunger, of searching, of danger. But tomorrow you will also strike stones together, carve edges sharper, shape survival from the earth itself. This is the world you live in, a world of stone where every edge is carved by your own hand, a world of silence where every pause in sound holds meaning, a world where you're not yet the master, but no longer merely the prey. You're something between, something becoming, and though the world does not yet know it, though even you cannot grasp it, this world of stone and silence is the beginning of everything. It is here, in the weight of rocks and the hush of danger, that the first sparks of humanity are struck. Not in fire, not in words, but in survival, in awareness, in the silent shaping of stone beneath your hand. You close your eyes, the stone still gripped tightly, the silence wrapping around you like a second skin. This is your world. This is where humanity begins. The first thing you feel is hunger. It gnaws at your belly, sharp and insistent, a reminder that yesterday's scraps were not enough. Hunger is not just discomfort here, it is danger. Hunger slows your movements, dulls your thoughts, and makes your body weak. In a land where strength and awareness mean survival, weakness is an invitation for death. You rise with the group as the sun creeps over the horizon, painting the plains in pale light. The grasses glimmer with dew, stretching endlessly in waves. Somewhere out there is food, but it is never simply waiting for you. It must be found, taken, fought for, and every creature in this land searches for the same thing. Your kind are not hunters yet, not truly. You are scavengers, opportunists, survivors at the edge of possibility. The sharp stones you carry are not weapons powerful enough to bring down the beasts of the plains. The antelopes are too swift, the zebras too wary, the elephants far too strong. But there is food to be found in other ways, in roots pulled from the earth, in berries gathered from bushes, in the marrow hidden deep within bones left behind by killers with sharper teeth than yours. The band spreads out cautiously, eyes sharp, movements deliberate. Every search for food is also a walk through danger. The tall grasses could hide both a fruit-bearing tree or the crouching form of a lion. You push the grasses aside with careful steps, your ears straining for sounds that do not belong. A cluster of low shrubs catches your eye. Small, round berries cling to the branches, dark against the green leaves. You reach out, plucking one, rolling it between your fingers. Instinct and memory guide you. Some berries nourish, others kill. You've seen both. You hesitate, then bring it to your lips. The taste is bitter, but not sharp. You spit out the skin and eat cautiously. The others watch, waiting. When you do not fall, they reach for the berries as well, their hunger outweighing caution. For now it is something, but not enough. The group moves on, restless. Hunger drives you forward, pushing you toward the open plains. You follow faint trails carved into the earth, the paths of larger animals. Sometimes they lead to water, where life gathers, and where opportunity may appear. But water also means danger. Predators know the same truth. By midday, the heat presses down hard, the air heavy, the ground dry beneath your feet. The search continues. A distant shape lies in the grass ahead, dark against the pale earth. The group halts, tense. You creep forward, heart pounding, the smell reaching you before the sight does. Blood, sour and heavy in the air. The carcass of an antelope lies sprawled, its flesh torn open, ribs jutting like broken spears. The kill is not fresh. Flies swarm thick around it, buzzing, claiming it. But the bones remain, heavy with marrow. You glance round nervously. Whoever made the kill could still be nearby. Lions rarely wander far from their feast. Hyenas circle and return. Vultures wait above, their wings black against the sky. Your band hesitates, shifting uneasily. Hunger presses you closer. The sharp stones you carry are raised, and you step forward. You kneel beside the carcass, stone in hand, and strike against bone. Chips splinter, but slowly cracks begin to form. The marrow within is thick and rich, food not easily found elsewhere. You scoop it out with your fingers, swallowing quickly. The others join, breaking bones, scraping fragments of meat left behind. Every bite is a victory, but fear lingers. The silence breaks suddenly with the sound of laughter, the high, eerie calls of hyenas. Shadows flicker in the grass as they approach, drawn by the smell, by the noise of your feast. Panic spreads through the band. The hyenas are many, their teeth strong, their confidence unshaken by stones in clumsy hands. You grab what you can and scatter. The group flees into the grass, clutching scraps, marrow-stained stones, fragments of food. Behind you, the hyenas descend on the carcass, snarling and tearing, their laughter filling the air. Your heart races, fear mixing with hunger and relief. You survived, but only barely. As the sun lowers, you gather again at the edge of the forest. The food is divided, scraps passed from hand to hand. It is not much, but it is enough to quiet the ache in your stomach. For now. Tomorrow, hunger will return, sharp as ever. Tomorrow the search begins again. The search for food is never simple. It is a balance between risk and need. To chase too boldly is to invite death. To hesitate too long is to starve. Your kind exists in the thin space between. You do not yet have fire to keep the night at bay. You do not yet have the tools to master the hunt. But you have persistence. You have sharp eyes, quick feet, clever hands, and sometimes persistence is enough. Later that evening you find yourself crouched near a patch of roots, digging with a stone. The ground is stubborn, but eventually it yields. Tubers knotted and rough are pulled from the earth. They are tough, bitter, hard to chew, but they fill the belly. Others gather seeds, fruits, whatever the land will allow. Small victories against a hunger that never ends. Still, the memory of the carcass lingers in your mind. The marrow, rich and warm, stronger than roots or berries. You remember the way the stone struck bone, the way cracks formed, the way sustenance was hidden inside. A lesson is carried forward. The land provides in ways both obvious and secret. To survive, you must learn to see what others overlook. Night comes quickly, the light draining from the sky. The group gathers, huddled in a shallow grove, sharing the scraps of the day's search. Bellies are not full, but they are no longer empty. The stars shine above, distant and cold, watching in silence. Tomorrow will bring the same hunger, the same search. But tonight, you are alive. The ancient plains are not generous. They do not give freely. They demand everything: your caution, your awareness, your courage. Every meal is earned through fear, through risk, through the knowledge that you're always one step from being prey yourself. But it is here, in this endless struggle, that something more than survival begins to form. In the search for food, in the cracks of stone and the marrow of bone, the story of humanity is being written. You do not yet know words, you cannot tell this story aloud. But in your hunger, in your persistence, in your will to rise each morning and face the plains again, the first lines are carved into the earth. A story of survival, a story of becoming. And so, under the vast silence of the stars, you close your eyes. Hunger will return, danger will return, but so will you. The day begins in silence, but silence here is never peace. It is a warning, a stillness heavy with unseen danger. The tall grasses sway gently in the wind, golden waves under the rising sun, but to walk through them is to step into uncertainty. The world you inhabit is not built for your safety. You are not the top hunter here, you are the hunted. The band moves together, eyes darting, ears straining. Every rustle, every flicker in the grass could mean a predator waiting. Your heart beats faster because you know the truth. You're not strong enough to fight a lion, not fast enough to outrun a cheetah, not fierce enough to face a leopard. Your only hope lies in awareness, in numbers, in running before claws and teeth find you. Predators are everywhere. The plains are their kingdom. You and your kind live in the margins, scraping survival from the edges. You smell them before you see them sometimes. The musky, heavy scent of lions lingers in the air, clinging to the grass. You see the marks they leave, paw prints pressed deep in the earth, trails that cut across your path. Somewhere out there, lions stalk silently, their golden coats blending perfectly with the savannah. You cannot see them until it is too late, and that is the greatest fear, that sudden explosion of violence, the leap of muscle and teeth, the sound of your kin screaming as claws pull them to the earth. The band has seen it before. You remember the day when one of your own strayed too far from the group, drawn toward a patch of fruit. The lioness came without sound, a streak of gold through the grass. By the time you heard the growl, it was already too late. The screams still echo in your mind, the sight of blood against the earth, the sudden silence that followed. That memory walks with you always, a reminder of what waits beyond every step. Today, as you search the grasses for food, you sense something. A pressure in the air, a tension crawling over your skin. The others feel it too. Movement flickers at the edge of vision. A ripple in the tall grass, unnatural, deliberate. You freeze, heart pounding, breath shallow. For a moment there is nothing but silence, and then a sound. A low rumble, deep and guttural, a growl that vibrates through the ground. The band erupts in panic. Stones are raised, throats cry out in warning. But you know these are not true weapons. They are desperate gestures, attempts to seem larger, louder, more dangerous than you are. And for a heartbeat, it works. A lion's head rises above the grass, golden eyes fixed on you, mane dark and heavy. He studies the group, his muscles tense, his decision balanced between hunger and caution. The standoff lasts seconds that feel like hours. Then, as if deciding you're not worth the risk, the lion melts back into the grass. He is gone, but not truly gone. You know he may circle, may wait, may follow. Every step forward now feels like walking with a shadow at your back. The plains do not belong to you. They belong to the lions, the leopards hidden in trees, the cheetahs that strike like lightning, the hyenas that laugh in the night. They remind you constantly of your place in this world. To survive, you must live in the gaps they leave behind. Later, near the watering hole, the danger sharpens again. Water draws life, but also death. As you approach, you see herds of zebras and antelope clustered at the edges, their bodies tense, ears twitching, eyes flicking constantly. They know predators are near, and if they are wary, you must be doubly so. The band waits, scanning the banks, watching the shadows. A crocodile slides silently beneath the water's surface, its eyes breaking through like twin stones. You step back instinctively, knowing that death can come from below as quickly as from the grass. Suddenly chaos erupts. Antelope scatter in every direction, hooves pounding, dust rising. A lioness has charged, leaping from the grass in an explosion of force. She misses, the antelope bounding away in frantic leaps, but the message is clear. Danger is constant, always seconds away. You and the others retreat quickly, thirst burning, but the water is not worth the risk. Hunger and thirst must wait until it is safe, if it is ever safe. As the day wears on, the tension never lifts. The grass whispers with hidden movement. A shadow moves high in the branches, a leopard watching with patient eyes. The band keeps close together, knowing that to stray even a little is to invite attack. Fear binds you, but it also teaches. You learn to read the land, to see the small signs that predators leave behind. A broken twig, a trail in the dirt, a silence in the air where birds should be singing. Survival is not just strength, it is awareness. By dusk, the group gathers again in the shelter of trees, bodies pressed close. The night is worse. Darkness hides everything, and the eyes of predators gleam from the edges of the fireless dark. You cannot see them, but you hear them. The coughing roar of a lion's, the eerie calls of hyenas echoing across the plains, the rustle of something moving close in the grass. You clutch a stone, though you know it is small comfort. Sleep comes fitfully, broken by sudden noises, by fear that claws and teeth will strike in the dark. Every sound jolts you awake, heart racing, eyes searching. You are prey, and the night belongs to the hunters. And yet, you endure. You survive, not because you are stronger, but because you are watchful. You survive because the band stays together, because many eyes see more than one. You survive because even when fear grips you, your legs still run, your hands still clutch stones, your mind still remembers where safety lies. Living as Homo Habilis means living with fear as constant as hunger. The predators of the plains shape your every choice, teaching you caution, sharpening your instincts. They remind you that survival is not guaranteed, that every day is borrowed time. But within that fear is the seed of something more. You begin to notice patterns, to anticipate movements, to sense danger before it strikes. You begin to share warnings, to gesture, to cry out together, to protect each other. Fear binds you, but it also shapes you. It sharpens the mind, forges the beginnings of cooperation, of strategy, of thought beyond the moment. The predators in the tall grass are your greatest threat, but they are also your greatest teachers. In the shadow of their teeth, the spark of humanity flickers, small, fragile, but growing. And so you rest uneasily, pressed close with the others, the night alive with distant roars. Tomorrow will bring hunger again. Tomorrow will bring fear again. But tomorrow you will still rise, for now survival is enough. In the fragile balance of survival, every advantage matters. For countless generations before you, survival meant only teeth, claws, speed, and strength. But you have none of these. Your body is small, your muscles weak compared to the beast that stalk the plains. Yet, in your hands lies something different. Something no lion, no hyena, no crocodile has ever grasped. A stone. At first glance, it is nothing. A rock plucked from the earth, heavy and ordinary. But in your grip, it is no longer just a rock. It is an extension of your will, a spark of possibility. Crude and awkward it may be, but it is the first tool, and it is the beginning of everything. You crouch by the edge of a riverbank surrounded by your band. Hunger gnaws at you. A zebra carcass lies half submerged in the mud, already torn into by sharper-toothed predators. The lions ate first, ripping into the flesh with jaws made for killing. Then the hyenas came, their bone-crushing teeth tearing what was left. Now they are gone, and only scraps remain. Scraps too tough, too thick for your teeth alone. But scraps are enough if you have a way to reach them. Your hand grips the stone tighter. You have seen others strike bone with rock, seen shards splinter off, sharp as the claws you were never born with. You mimic them, raising the stone and bringing it down hard against another. The sound is sharp, a crack that echoes through the still air. A piece flakes away, jagged and cruel at the edges. You touch it carefully, feeling the danger of its edge. This is no longer just a rock. This is a blade. Clumsy hands, trembling with effort, begin to work. You strike again and again, breaking stone against stone until fragments scatter at your feet. Some are useless, dull and broken, but others gleam with possibility. Thin, sharp flakes, tools carved from chance and instinct. You take one and kneel by the zebra. The hide is thick, resistant. Your teeth cannot pierce it, your nails cannot tear it. But the sharp flake slices. Slowly, awkwardly, you saw at the flesh, opening a wound where none was possible before. Blood stains your fingers, the smell thick and metallic. Others gather around, eyes wide, eager, desperate. They reach for flakes, for stones, mimicking your motions. Together, you cut into what was once unreachable. The band feasts not on scraps left bare by predators, but on marrow and tendon and meat hidden deep. This stone opens a new world, and this is the beginning of change. The tools are crude, yes, they lack elegance, lack precision. Your fingers ache as you grip them, the sharp edges cutting your own skin if you're not careful. Yet they give you something no other creature has, a way to shape the world. You're no longer bound to what your body alone can do. With stone in hand, you can tear hide, crush bone, extract marrow, the rich, fatty treasure hidden within skeletons that predators cannot always reach. That marrow fuels your body, fuels your brain. The tool feeds not just your hunger but your future. The memory of stone lingers in your mind. Each time you see a rock now, you do not only see stone, you see potential. A riverbank becomes a quarry, a broken cliff, a storehouse. Your eyes begin to search differently, not just for food or danger, but for stones of the right shape, the right size, the ones that fracture cleanly. You carry them when you move. The first beginnings of foresight awaken, not just reacting to the moment, but preparing for what is to come. And yet the stones are not just for food. One day, as you wander the plains, you hear the laughter of hyenas. The band freezes, fear clawing at your throat. They emerge from the grass, eyes glinting, jaws open in mocking cackles. Hyenas are relentless. They will chase. They will bite. They will not give up. Your legs twitch to run, but your hand reaches for a stone. You raise it high and throw. It arcs clumsily through the air. Not true, not fast, but it strikes the ground near their feet. Dust rises. The hyenas hesitate, surprised. Another in your band hurls a stone, then another. The hyenas snarl, uncertain now. You're not claws or teeth, but you are something different. A rain of stones falls around them, and with frustration they retreat. The victory is small, but it is profound. For the first time, you do not only flee, you push back, not with strength, but with invention. Still, the tools are awkward. Stones slip from sweaty palms. Sharp flakes cut your own fingers. You strike bone too hard and shatter the blade, leaving it useless. Sometimes the band quarrels over the best rocks, over who gets to cut first at a carcass. You are learning, but slowly, painfully, through failure and blood. And yet, something is changing deep inside. Each time you flake a stone, you remember the motion. Each time you slice flesh, you improve. Slowly, patterns emerge. Knowledge passed not in words, but in imitation, in the careful watching of hands. The young watch the old, the inexperienced copy the skilled. The act of making tools becomes more than survival. It becomes memory, tradition. In the evenings, as the band gathers in the fading light, stones lie in small piles nearby. Some worked, some waiting. Fingers tap against them absent-mindedly, testing edges, turning them over. You do not yet understand the magnitude of what you hold, but you feel it, a stirring in your chest, an awareness that you are different, and not just prey, not just scavenger, but something else, something on the edge of becoming. You cannot make fire yet. The night is still filled with cold and fear. The predators still rule the dark. But in your clumsy hands, the first tools are already rewriting the story of survival. Their weapons, knives, hammers, their promises. The predators sense it too. Lions learn to circle wider when stones begin to fly. Hyenas hesitate longer. Even vultures circling above understand that the band lingers longer now at carcasses, carving deeper into what was once left behind. Slowly, imperceptibly, the balance shifts. For millions of years, claws and teeth ruled. Now, for the first time, something new rises, stone in the hands of a fragile creature. The tools do not make you safe, not yet. They do not make you masters. But they plant the seed of mastery, and so you continue, day after day, stone against bone, stone against flesh, stone against stone. Your fingers bleed, your hands ache, but you learn. Clumsy though they are, these first tools are the doorway to a future you cannot yet see. A future where weakness becomes strength, where fear becomes power, where survival becomes more than chance. For now, you are still small, still prey. But with stone in your hands, you're no longer helpless. You're becoming something else. And in the echoes of those first strikes, in the sound of rock breaking rock, the story of humanity begins. Night comes quickly on the African plains. One moment the sky's painted in red and gold, the sun dipping below the horizon in a blaze of light. The next, the world is swallowed in darkness. Shadows stretch long across the ground, then vanish altogether as the last rays fade. The warmth of day drains from the air, replaced by a chill that seeps into your skin, and with the darkness comes fear. For Homo Habilis, night is a prison without walls. The tall grass whispers in the wind, but every sound is more than wind. It could be claws, paws, the low growl of something watching. Your band gathers close, pressed together for comfort, bodies trembling. You huddle not because you want to, but because you must. Alone, you are nothing. Together you are still small but less helpless. There is no fire. You have seen it before, perhaps, in the distance, a tree struck by lightning, flames raging and devouring everything around it. You remember the crackle, the heat, the blinding light that turned night into day. But you do not know how to call it. You do not know how to keep it. It dies as quickly as it appears, leaving only ash and blackened earth. For now, it is a power beyond you, a gift you cannot yet hold. So, you sit in the dark, your eyes straining against the night. Above you, the The stars scatter across the sky in impossible numbers, cold and distant. The moon hangs like a silver eye, but it offers little comfort. Its glow touches the land, but it cannot chase away the shadows where predators hide. The sounds of the night rise around you. A lion roars, deep and thunderous, echoing across the plains. It vibrates in your chest, reminding you of how small you are. The laughter of hyenas follows, sharp and mocking, drifting closer. Somewhere, a leopard coughs in the dark, a low, rasping call that makes the hair rise on your neck. And always, beneath it all, the quiet shuffle of unseen feet moving through the grass. You grip a stone in your hand. Others hold bones, sticks, whatever they can. Weapons, if they can be called that. They are poor defences against teeth and claws, but they are all you have. You press closer to the group, feeling the warmth of bodies, the sharp smell of sweat and fear. The dark is endless. Minutes feel like hours, hours like eternities. The predators know you are here. You can feel their eyes, glowing faintly in the distance, watching, waiting. They know the night belongs to them. You are intruders, fragile beings trespassing in a world of hunters. Sometimes a shape moves too close. The band erupts in panic, stones are thrown, voices cry out, bodies press tighter together. The predator retreats for now, but it will return. Always it will return. For in the dark, you are prey again. All the stones in the world cannot change that. Sleep comes in fits, broken and restless. You drift in and out, your mind half awake, ears straining for danger even in dreams. When you close your eyes, visions come. Flashes of light, of fire, of warmth that you do not yet understand. Perhaps deep inside, something in you longs for it, even before you know it can be made. The cold gnaws at you. Without the sun, your thin frame shivers. You curl into yourself, pressing against the others, sharing heat. Babies whimper, elders groan. Every breath is a cloud in the cool night air. You do not know comfort, only endurance. And yet, the night is not only fear. Sometimes, when the predators are far, when the world is briefly still, you lift your eyes to the sky. The stars overwhelm you. You do not know their names, cannot map their constellations, but you feel their immensity. They stretch farther than you can imagine, silent witnesses to your struggle. In them there is something vast, something beyond fear. Though you cannot explain it, though words do not yet exist, a stirring takes root in your mind. A sense of awe, but awe does not feed you. Awe does not keep the lions at bay. One night, a hyena grows bold. It darts close, teeth flashing. Panic explodes. Stones are hurled wildly. A child screams. The band lashes out, voices rising in desperate cries. The hyena snaps its jaws, retreating only when a stone strikes it squarely. Blood drips from its nose and it retreats into the dark, laughing, mocking. The fear lingers long after it is gone. Every night is like this. Fear, hunger, cold. You endure, because you must, because there is no choice. And yet, something inside you dreams of more. You remember the lightning tree, the fire that devoured the forest. You remember its light, its heat. Your mind circles it, wonders about it. The first glimmers of curiosity rise in you, not just fear, but wonder. What if the fire could be held? What if it could be brought here, to keep the predators away, to warm the night, to bring safety? You cannot yet answer that question, not now, for tonight you sit in the dark, waiting for dawn. When the first light touches the horizon, it feels like salvation. The sun rises, painting the plains in gold, pushing the shadows back. The lions retreat to their dens, the hyenas fade into the grass, the leopards vanish into the trees. The band stretches, exhausted. aching from cold and fear. But you are alive. Another night survived. And so it goes, night after night. No fire, only endurance. Yet something has shifted. Each time you throw a stone, each time you imagine fire, each time you watch the stars, your mind is changing. Slowly, painfully, you're becoming more than just prey. The dark is still terrifying. It will always be terrifying. But deep inside, a seed is planted, a vision of light, a hunger not only for food, but for control, for mastery of the night. For now, the fire is not yet found, but in your bones, in your blood, in the restless dreams that come when you shiver in the cold, you feel that one day it will be. And when it comes, everything will change. Night falls, and with it, the world changes. On the ancient African plains, dusk is not gentle, it is sudden. The last light of the sun stretches across the horizon, painting the grasses in gold, and then it slips away, leaving everything drenched in darkness. For Homo Habilis, this is the most dangerous time of all. The day is a struggle, yes, but the day is something you can face with eyes open, with stones in your hands, with your small group at your side. At night, the balance shifts. You're no longer a creature moving in the light. You're a fragile body adrift in a sea of shadows. There is no fire, no torch to light your way, no wall to keep danger out. The night presses against your skin like a weight, thick and endless. You huddle close with your band, pressed together for warmth, for comfort, for protection. There is no safety, only the illusion of it. Above you, the stars awaken. They bloom across the black sky, countless and brilliant, more than you can ever count, more than you can even begin to comprehend. To your eyes, they seem alive, tiny fires burning far away. They are beautiful, but beauty means little when you're cold, hungry and afraid. Still, you stare. The stars are a mystery you cannot name, a riddle that stirs something restless inside of you. They shine in silence, indifferent to your struggle, and yet they hold your gaze, as if offering a promise you cannot yet understand. The first sound cuts through the night, the roar of a lion. Deep, guttural, vibrating in your chest, it travels across the plains like thunder. Instantly your group tenses. You grip a stone, a stick, a piece of bone, anything that might become a weapon. The roar reminds you of what you already know. This is not your world. This is the lion's world, the leopard's world, the hyena's world. You are intruders in a kingdom of predators, surviving only by chance, by caution, by the thin bond of staying together. The tall grass rustles. You freeze. Is it the wind, or is it the soft tread of paws, silent and sure, moving closer? Your ears strain, every nerve on edge. You're not alone in this darkness. You never are. The predators are patient. They know the night belongs to them. They know your eyes are weak, your body fragile, your defences laughable compared to their claws and teeth. They can wait, they can circle, they can listen to your heartbeats quicken, to your ragged breaths. They know that fear weakens prey long before teeth do. You sit in a cluster, pressed against one another, backs to the trees or the rocks if you can find them. The children whimper and their cries are quickly hushed, though not out of comfort, out of fear that the sound will draw unwanted attention. The elders are weary, their eyes heavy, but no one can truly sleep. Sleep is too dangerous. Sleep is a surrender, an opening for death to slip in unseen. Hours pass like lifetimes. Sometimes a predator tests you. Eyes flash in the dark, glowing faintly with reflected starlight. A shape moves at the edge of sight. A low growl rumbles from the grass. Stones are thrown, cries are shouted, sticks waved wildly. The predator withdraws, for now, but you know it will come again. And yet, In the moments between fear, there is stillness. The grass sways in the wind, the insects hum, their sounds weaving together into a constant chorus. Somewhere far off, frogs croak by a pool of water. The night is not only terror, it is also vast, alive, filled with things beyond your comprehension. When you look up again, the sky pulls at you. The stars are so many, so bright, that they make you feel small, smaller even than you already are. You cannot name them, cannot chart them, but you sense their permanence. Unlike the lions and the hyenas, unlike the fleeting warmth of day, the stars do not change. They are always there, patient, eternal. They stir something in you, a quiet awe. It is the beginning of a thought, a question, a dream. The moon rises. Its pale glow touches the grasslands, silvering the tips of the blades, casting long shadows. It makes the predators more visible, and for that you are grateful. But the moon also changes the night into something strange, almost otherworldly. It bathes the land in light that is neither day nor dark, a ghostly half-world where you sit trembling and awake. You shiver. The night is cold, colder than the day. Without fire there is no warmth except the press of bodies. You huddle close, sharing heat, skin against skin. Every breath clouds in the air, every shiver passes through the group like a ripple. The cold is its own predator, wearing you down, making your bones ache, your body stiff. And then there are the dreams. Sleep, when it comes in brief snatches, is haunted. You dream of light, of warmth, of fire dancing in the distance. You dream of safety that never lasts, of predators with eyes like stars, of voices you cannot name whispering in the dark. You wake with your heart pounding, unsure of what is real, what is dream, what is the thin line between the two. The fear of night becomes a teacher. It sharpens you. It forces you to stay alert, to listen, to imagine. Every sound matters. Every shadow matters. You begin to sense patterns in the night. The way the lions roar at certain hours. The way the hyenas call when they draw closer. The way the leopards move in silence. You learn that not every sound means danger, but that any sound could mean danger. It is a lesson etched into your bones, one that will never leave your kind. And yet, alongside the fear, something else grows. Curiosity. The predators own the night because they see in the dark, because they are strong, because they are fearless. But you are different. You are fragile, yes, but you are also restless. You do not only fear the night, you think about it. You wonder about the fire you've seen before, in lightning-struck trees, in the distance when the land burns. You remember its warmth, its light. You dream of it. You long for it. One night the memory of fire sears itself into your mind. Far across the plains, lightning splits the sky. The thunder follows, rolling deep and long. A tree bursts into flame. You see it, glowing bright against the darkness, crackling alive. The predators scatter from it, retreating into the shadows. The fire stands like a guardian, defiant against the night. For a moment you feel something impossible. Hope. If only you could have that. If only the fire could be yours. But it is not yours. Not yet. When the fire dies, the night swallows everything again. You're back to trembling, back to throwing stones, back to waiting for dawn. And so you endure. The night feels endless, but eventually the horizon begins to glow. The first streaks of orange cut through the black, and relief floods you. The predators retreat, melting into the grass, into the trees, into the silence. The night, for all its terror, cannot last forever. The sun returns, and with it comes warmth, vision, a fragile sense of control. You're exhausted, your body sore from shivering, your mind heavy from fear, your eyes burning from broken sleep. But you are alive. Another night survived, and in survival there is meaning. These nights carve themselves into you. They teach you that you are prey, but they also teach you that you can endure. They teach you that fear can sharpen, that the dark can spark dreams of light, that even in the shadows there is something stirring in your mind, a longing for more than survival. One day, far in the future, your kind will find fire. You will hold it, shape it, keep it alive, and when that day comes, the nights will change forever. But for now, you live in the in-between, nights filled with shadows, stars, fear, and fragile dreams. The night is not just survival, it is transformation. And as you look up one last time, the stars shimmer above you, eternal, indifferent, watching. They have seen creatures come and go, predators rise and vanish, worlds change and change again. They will see you too, trembling in the grass, waiting for dawn. And though you cannot know it, they will see something else. The slow, fragile birth of wonder in the mind of a small, frightened creature that will one day call itself human. Every scar is a lesson. Every night survived, every predator evaded, every scrap of meat torn from bone. All of it becomes more than an event. It becomes memory, not just in the mind, but in the body, in the very marrow of your bones. For Homo Habilis, survival is not just an act. It is the classroom of existence. Each moment in the ancient world carves truths that cannot be forgotten. You wake with the sun after another night of trembling fear, your body weak from shivers, your eyes heavy with exhaustion. The children cling to their mothers half asleep while the older ones stir cautiously, scanning the tall grass for movement. You survived, but survival is only the beginning. Survival teaches. The lesson of hunger comes first. Hunger gnaws at you more than lions or leopards ever could. It is a predator that stalks from within, pressing against your stomach, twisting your strength into weakness. Hunger teaches you that food is not guaranteed, that a single day without it can break you, and yet you must keep moving. It teaches you to notice the smallest details. A bush heavy with berries, a carcass picked clean except for marrow-rich bones, the faint sound of roots being tugged from earth by other creatures. Hunger forces you to imagine what is edible, to test, to risk. And when hunger is eased, even for a short while, you learn gratitude. Not the abstract kind, but gratitude as raw relief, as the desperate joy of filling an empty belly. The lesson of fear comes next. Fear is your constant companion, a shadow that walks beside you at all times. It sharpens your senses, makes every sound a warning, every rustle of grass a threat. Fear teaches you to listen, to pay attention, to never grow careless. It tells you that you are fragile, but it also makes you fast. When the hyena laughs too close, when the lion's roar trembles in your bones, fear drives you to climb trees, to huddle together, to throw stones with desperate strength. Fear teaches unity. Alone, you're nothing. Together, you're less nothing. Together, you have a chance. The lesson of tools arrives with bruises, broken nails, and bloodied fingers. At first, your hands are clumsy, awkward, unfit for the harsh world. But the stones teach you. Striking rock against rock, failing more often than succeeding, you discover sharpness hidden inside dull stone. That sharpness cuts, and the cut is power. It splits skin, opens marrow, shapes wood. Tools teach you that the world can be altered, that nature is not fixed but malleable. A stick becomes a digging tool, a stone becomes a blade, a broken bone becomes a hammer. The lesson is not just survival, it is creativity born from desperation. The lesson of predators never stops. They are the true rulers of the plains, and you are forced to bow to their presence. But in their hunting, they teach you too. Watching them, you learn patterns. Lions hunt at dusk and dawn, leopards strike in silence, crocodiles wait without moving. You learn that the world is not random but full of cycles, rhythms, predictable dangers. Predators teach you patience, caution, and the truth of limits. You cannot fight them, only avoid them, and yet sometimes by throwing stones together, by shouting as one, you learn another lesson, that even the mightiest predator can be driven back by unity. It is not victory, but it is survival. The lesson of death is everywhere. It is not hidden. You see it in the carcass of antelopes left half devoured, in bones scattered across the ground, in your own kin who do not rise after an attack, after an illness, after a fall. Death teaches you that survival is never guaranteed, that the line between life and nothing is thin as grass. But it also teaches urgency. You cannot wait to live tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised. You must act now. You must eat when you can, drink when you can, hide when you can. The lesson of death is not despair. It is clarity. Life matters because it can vanish at any moment. The lesson of the night is the deepest. The night strips away your illusions of safety, reducing you to trembling prey in the dark. It teaches you endurance, the ability to sit in fear and still persist. It teaches you dreams, strange, flickering images born in half-sleep that suggest possibilities beyond survival. Most of all, the night teaches you longing. You long for warmth, for light, for safety. You dream of fire. You do not yet have it, but the hunger for it grows, becoming part of what defines you. Day after day, year after year, these lessons carve into you something new. Memory, not only of events, but of patterns. Slowly, survival becomes more than instinct. It becomes knowledge, passed from one generation to the next, not in words but in actions. A child watches how a stone is struck. A child learns which plants make you sick. A child sees the way the group moves when lions prowl. These are the first teachings, the first inheritance. You may not speak as future humans will, but you are already passing lessons forward, and each lesson leaves more than memory. It leaves marks in your very being. Hunger shapes your stomach. Your body stores fat when it can. Fear sharpens your eyes and ears, shaping your vigilance. Tools reshape your hands, fingers adapting to grip and strike. Predators etch caution into your bones, making you light-footed, watchful. Night shapes your dreams, giving rise to imagination. Lessons of survival are not just learned. They are embodied. They become the blueprint of your kind. But survival is not only pain. Within the lessons there are glimmers of something more. When you find fruit and share it, you learn generosity. When you cluster in fear, you learn companionship. When you throw stones together, you learn cooperation. When you gaze at the stars, you learn wonder. These lessons are not separate from survival. They are born from it. They are the beginnings of what will one day become culture, story, meaning. Imagine the first time one of your kind sharpens a stone deliberately, with intention rather than accident. Imagine the first time someone gives food to another, not because they must, but because they want to. Imagine the first time a dream is described with gestures, shared as something meaningful, not just personal. These are lessons not written in books, but in blood, in hunger, in fear. They are written in survival itself. The land is merciless, but in its mercilessness it gives you something priceless. The drive to change. If the world had been easy, you would have remained as you were. But because it was harsh, you learn. You adapt. You dream. The very act of staying alive becomes the crucible in which humanity is forged. And so the cycle continues. Each day brings hunger, each night brings fear, each year brings loss, but each day also brings discovery, each night brings endurance, each year brings knowledge. Slowly, you are not just surviving, you are becoming something else. The lessons written in survival are not temporary. They are the foundations of humanity itself. Think of it this way. Every modern human carries within them the ghost of these lessons. The instinct to fear the dark, to huddle together, to feel unease at rustling grass. All of it comes from here, from these nights, these plains, these fragile beginnings. The drive to create tools, to share, to dream, to wonder at the stars, those two come from here. Nothing is lost. Every lesson remains, carried forward in memory, in instinct, in blood. For Homo habilis, life is short. Few live long enough to grow old, but the impact of their survival is endless. They may not know it, but in learning how to survive, they are also learning how to become human. The scars of hunger, the terror of predators, the fragile safety of companionship. These are not just struggles. They're instructions, written in the only language that matters, survival. Instructions that echo forward through generations, shaping minds, shaping bodies, shaping the very story of humanity. And so, as the sun sets once again and you prepare for another night of shadows, you carry not only fear, but also the weight of lessons. You know the dangers, the hungers, the limits. You also know the strength of togetherness, the usefulness of tools, the patterns of the land. Survival is no longer random. It is guided by memory, by instinct, by knowledge passed forward. You're not just living, you are learning. And in learning, you're building the first chapters of what will one day be the human story. The night comes, the lions roar, the stars burn overhead. You clutch a stone in your hand, your group huddled tight around you. Fear is still there, sharp and heavy. But inside that fear, something else glows quietly. The knowledge that every night survived, every lesson learned, brings you closer to a future your kind cannot yet imagine. The lessons of survival are not only for the present, they are the seeds of tomorrow. The night is quiet now. The stars are spread wide across the sky, burning with cold fire, watching as they always have. You sit huddled among your group, the faint smell of crushed grass and dry earth clinging to your skin. You do not know what tomorrow will bring. You never do. Yet, in this moment, something feels different. It is not just survival. It is a glimpse of meaning. For a day you have lived as Homo habilis. You have felt hunger grip your stomach like a claw, fear sharpen your senses, tools cut your hands as much as they saved you, and shadows stretch long over your fragile shelter. You have endured the chaos of predators, the emptiness of plains where food hides in silence, and the cold breath of night without fire to drive it back. And in every trial, you learned something about what it means to be human. Not modern human, not Homo sapiens, but the beginning of it all. These reflections matter because they are not just about survival in a forgotten age. They are about the roots buried deep within you, roots that still shape who you are today. To live as Homo habilis is to exist always on the edge. There is no comfort, no certainty, no promise of safety. The world is bigger than you, stronger than you, hungrier than you. And yet, from this fragility, something astonishing emerges. Homo habilis is small compared to the predators of their time, but in their smallness lies a secret strength, adaptability. They do not outfight lions or outrun cheetahs, but they outthink them. They watch, they learn, they remember. They see patterns where others see chaos. They discover that stone can become a blade, that a carcass left by lions is not an end but an opportunity. Fragility, in truth, is the teacher of resilience. If Homo habilis had been born strong and secure, perhaps they would never have changed. But because the world pressed against them so brutally, they adapted. They grew clever hands, restless minds, and the early sparks of cooperation. From weakness came transformation. And isn't that still true of us today? Our greatest growth often rises not from ease, but from hardship. It is written into the very foundation of humanity. That struggle is the forge of progress. There is no lesson sharper than hunger. To live as Homo habilis is to know a stomach that rarely feels full, a mouth dry with thirst, a constant searching for the next scrap of sustenance. But hunger is more than pain. It is a teacher of vision. Hunger forces creativity. It drives experimentation, digging roots from the ground, cracking bones to reach marrow, trying berries that may harm or heal. It forces courage, pushing you to steal meat from a predator's kill, to risk approaching danger for the chance of survival. But hunger also binds the group. A mother cannot watch her child starve without giving up her own portion. A hunter cannot ignore the weak without weakening the whole. Sharing is born in hunger, not as charity, but as necessity. And from necessity comes the seed of compassion. Think of that for a moment. Compassion, one of the deepest qualities of humanity, may have been born not from comfort, but from hunger. In sharing pain, in easing it for one another, our ancestors wrote the first lines of empathy into the story of humankind. Fear was their constant companion, yet it was never wasted. Fear sharpened the eyes, tuned the ears, tightened the muscles. Fear is not paralysis. It is awareness. It is vigilance pressed into the bones, ensuring no one ever forgets the presence of lions in the dark or crocodiles waiting at the river's edge. Even now, in your modern body, echoes of this fear remain. You feel unease in the forest at night. Your pulse quickens when something moves unseen. You shiver at sounds you cannot explain. These are not weaknesses. They are gifts left to you by Homo habilis, the whispers of survival written into your blood. But fear also taught unity. Alone, a single Homo habilis was helpless. Together, with stones in their hands and voices raised in defiance, there was something more. Not powerful, not invincible, but enough. Enough to survive another day. Fear, then, was not only terror, it was the thread that bound the group. It taught them that survival was not an individual game, but a collective one. And that lesson has never left us. Perhaps the greatest reflection lies in the hands, clumsy, calloused, bloodied, yet capable of shaping stone into something new. When the first Homo habilis struck rock against rock and saw a sliver of sharpness split free, the world shifted forever. This was not just survival. It was the first act of transformation, the first whisper of the truth that would define humanity. The world is not fixed. It can be changed. Tools were not merely objects, they were possibilities. They allowed bones to be cracked, skins to be cut, roots to be dug, shelters to be built. They gave leverage against a world that seemed overwhelming. And more than that, they planted the seed of imagination. To make a tool is to imagine something that does not yet exist. It is to see beyond what is to what could be. That is the essence of being human. Even now, every invention, from fire to spacecraft, traces its ancestry back to those first stone flakes in the hands of Homo habilis. If there's one moment of reflection more profound than all others, it is the night. Imagine it. The world wrapped in darkness, predators lurking unseen, cold seeping into your bones. You huddle close to others, your only shield the fragile bond of togetherness. Above you, The sky burns with stars. You do not understand them, not yet, but you cannot ignore them. They stir something inside you, wonder, curiosity, perhaps even the first spark of spirituality. In those lights, far beyond your reach, you sense that the world is larger than the grasslands, larger than your fear, larger even than your hunger. The night teaches humility. It teaches endurance. It teaches longing for something more than survival. And perhaps it is here, under the stars, that the first seeds of imagination take root, seeds that will grow into myths, stories, gods, and eventually science itself. To reflect on Homo habilis is to reflect on ourselves. We carry them in our bones, our instincts, our fears, our desires. We are not separate from them. We are them, stretched forward through time. Why do we crave safety in groups? Because they huddled in the dark. Why do we seek meaning in the stars? Because they stared at them in silence. Why do we invent, create, dream? Because their clumsy hands struck stone and the spark of possibility was born. Survival for them was not just a moment in time. It was the blueprint of who we would become. Every lesson they learned was carried forward, refined, expanded, until it shaped all of human history. When you reflect on their lives, you see not only what was lost, the hunger, the fear, the constant danger, but also what was gained: resilience, cooperation, imagination. These are the true gifts of Homo habilis. Perhaps the greatest reflection is this: just as Homo habilis once walked the earth, struggling each day to survive, so too will our species one day fade. We're not the end of the story. We're another chapter. Homo habilis did not know they were the dawn of humanity. They were simply surviving. In the same way, we do not know what role we play in the vast arc of Earth's story. Perhaps we're only a phase, a bridge to something else. What matters, then, is not the illusion of permanence, but the truth of legacy. What lessons will we pass on? What scars, what dreams, what tools will we leave behind for those who come after? And so the day ends. The stars stretch above you. The grass whispers with the sound of unseen creatures. The stone in your hand feels heavy but reassuring. You're fragile, yet you endure. You're afraid, yet you continue. You're hungry, yet you hope for food tomorrow. This is the story of Homo habilis, not one of triumph, not one of conquest, but one of survival. A survival so persistent, so stubborn, that it carved the path for all who followed. They were not kings of the earth. They were not masters of fire or builders of monuments. They were simply beings who refused to vanish, who endured hunger, fear, and cold long enough to pass the spark forward. And that spark, the lesson written in survival, is still burning, carried by us. So, as you step back from their world and return to your own, remember, every heartbeat, every breath, every dream you have is built on theirs. You are the echo of their struggle, the continuation of their story. Good night, Homo habilis. Your lessons remain.